Hey guys, welcome to the Tai'ers podcast, Tai'ers live stream. With your host Ty. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time this is coming at you. Bang, bang, bang. Take this energy now that we all in the same boat. We can start the conversation. Hey guys, yes, I'm gonna talk about Ty on the movie Spider-Man Into the Multiverse or Into the Verse, whatever it's called. I finally saw it 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago. Remember, guys, if y'all new to the channel, Just Ty stands for Just Think About It. It's when you combine your mind with your heart, connect those two circles, and you let whatever come out just come on out. That's what this is all about. Got the water for this time. And also, the Tai'ers live stream does not promote the use of illegal or legal drugs. What you do with your body is what you decide to do with your body. Do not recreate anything that you see or hear on this channel. This is for documentation and harm reduction purposes only. But yes, I'm gonna be flipping back and forth between these pictures that I have of Spider-Man and also of back and forth right here, so we can really tie and get to what's going on. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna let the room fill up a bit. Plug in this keyboard. There we go. Alright, now I can do things like... Wait, what just happened? I think I pulled the cord out. Hold on, guys. Yeah. Alright. We're back. So, I'm gonna tie on this movie. Let's just tie. We're gonna tie on this movie, The Spider-Verse. It was about Spider-Man encountering different dimensions. Don't lose this yet. It's about Spider-Man encountering different dimensions of himself and different versions of himself, and them all meeting up and having a good old time. Flashing through some images right now, but we're gonna tie on all of this. It was even a woman Spider-Man, so it was an awesome movie that I really want to see. I want to tie and see also what y'all was thinking about. So please like this video and leave a comment on how this video changed your life, or what was you inspired by, or tie along, and we're gonna keep on going. So yeah. This movie is real psychedelic. Y'all already know it's dealing with dimensions and multi travels and meeting different versions of one person, of one supposed self. And this is these are some of the strange encounters that come to mind during psychedelic experiences, either blasting off in high dose psilocybin or DMT rims and meeting other entities, or smoking salvia or doing DMT and living other lifetimes and seeing alternate versions of yourself, having a family and everything. These stories are readily out there. These stories are out there that people are having experiences. So with Spider-Man, that's really cool how they actually put this into one movie, into one aspect, in order to get this concept out to the public somehow, some way. But it all started off with Miles. Miles was the new Spider-Man in this Spider-Verse, and this is actually all based off a comic. Like, they ain't just make this up. It's actually a Miles in the comic book. And in this Spider-Verse, Spider-Man actually passes away. He actually passes away, and so he passes away in front of... What made it work? Yeah, he passed away in front of Miles. That's what happened. He passed away in front of Miles, so that made it so it was no Spider-Man in that verse, in that multiverse, in that universe that Miles was in anymore. And it was cool how the movie started, because they had you. It was Spider-Man. It was some Spider-Man, but it was like they put a familiar tone of a Spider-Man up first, where he was saying his origin story about the Uncle Ben and everything, and dying, and him saving the world in New York City over and over and over and over again. Shout outs to Stan Lee. Shout outs to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all of the other awesome artists that came together to create these characters, these lives that that we are talking about now. But yeah, that's what was going on. So Spider Man dies in the beginning, which was wild for a children's cartoon, for a children's show, that they actually showed the Spider Man dying. But the way they got past that, yeah, that's right when he was dying. And the way they got past that though was by showing that it was more Spider Mans that actually existed. So that Spider Man didn't. It was like they washed over the fact, but I could see in my mind I was getting the truth that the Spider-Man didn't ever really die. He doesn't ever really die. You don't ever really die. That was a huge thing that I got from this. Is alternate versions. Like they said, it was ultimate versions of the Spider-Man. Like it was wild. It says ultimate versions of Spider-Man. So they had the black and white Spider-Man from the 50s, the Warner Brothers Pig Spider-Man, the girls Spider-Man, the techno anime robot Spider-Man, and also the one that we're kind of familiar with, the Peter Parker Spider-Man, but he was fat and got divorced from Mary Jane in this one. So it was wild how in the movie they play it out as different Spider-Mans, but and how I'm looking at it is different me's. It's different ties out there. It's different ties out there. It's different yous out there. That's how I go in looking at this movie. And it reminded me of the movie One by Jet Li. The movie One by Jet Li was he was I don't know if he was a criminal or some action hero or something, but what he did was he traveled the multiverses and he traveled dimensionally in the movie One, Jet Li, and his goal was to combine all the different versions of himself into one like ultra master. That's why it was called One, and it had Jet Li in it. So that's the next movie I probably run across. But I don't be looking up movies just so I gotta watch this. I just be running across them, or just be running across. Oh, I'm gonna watch this on the Fire Stick or and this anything like that. So yeah, that's a movie that if you really want to see what they was talking about in Spider-Man, if you don't have your own personal experience, then the One, Jet Li, is a good movie to look at. It's a good movie. Let me check this out. All right. But yeah, the Spider-Mans, it was also cool how once the Spider-Man died, yeah, it was once the Spider-Man passed away, the Peter Parker of the Miles dimension, they got like Earth 142 and all of them things. We see a huge Hydron. I got a picture of that. A huge Hydron collider. This is when it actually exploded towards the end. But these scientists and Kingpin, they was working with the Hydron. I don't even know if it was called the Hydron collider. That's just what it is in this dimension. But it was a collider that when they pushed the atoms together or whatever it was, those molecules, they was able to mess with different universes, and they was experimental with extra dimensional travel. And the whole sidestep story was that Kingpin wanted to save. It's a lot of spoilers in this, so if you ain't see this movie, you're gonna get spoiled. There's gonna be a lot of spoilers in this. But Kingpin, he wanted to actually save his daughter and his mom. His wife. He wanted to go back into the past and he wanted to go back into the past and bring them back to life by using this multi-dimensional theory that the scientist was working on. He wanted to abuse it for his own pain, hurt and pain. That's mostly where villains come in. It's like they be having a thing, but it's always through a pain that they're trying to work that out. So through pain you hurting people or willing to do things and just go at it and at whatever cost, and I was looking at it because this was approved. I was looking at that this was approved by the comics I forget that the stamp of approval they put on comics so that bad guys always have to come out a certain way. But that's another story. But this is all how it is in the realm of feelings, I believe. In the realm of feelings and in the other dimension, in our real, like on our inner selves, that a lot of people ignore or not just in touch with it enough as much as they want to. So they messed with the dimensional travel was cool because they were showing all these cool colors and everything, and a lot of stuff was glitching out. A lot of things was glitching out, and it was some reference. I'm going through the pictures now. Hold on, I might as well show y'all. Yeah, yeah. Once he died, this what it was. Once Spider-Man died, this was a cool scene because Mary Jane was saying, "Yeah, Spider-Man wants all of y'all to like really live out the truth and like know that you to answer the call and things like that. You have to answer the call now for the Spider-Man. You are it." And everything. And the guy that was standing next, and this after Miles was already coming on to his powers. He was like, he already knew, he already witnessed Spider-Man death and everything at this point. So then after that had happened, the guy next to him was like, "Oh, I don't think that she's talking to you specifically. I think it's just some kind of metaphor or something like that." And that's how I see a lot of, that's how I see a lot of, in my life. That's how I see it from people on the outside that's not there mentally in that space with me, and they like, "Oh, that's just a metaphor. They're not talking about you or nothing like that." But that's the hero's calling. That's in all of us. Period. Point blank. Period. I think that's the hero's calling. I made videos about this for about 3 years ago, and about hearing the calling and taking it up and knowing that that message was for you and not just for you to communicate to somebody else to do something, but for you to take up the reins. But it was wild how he thought it was a metaphor, but he was in a sense of zone like, no, he actually talking about me. And it's just wild how that lines up with psychedelics. So when you start dealing with psychedelics, you start getting a feeling that you're being called for something, that you're being bred for something, and that what you was being bred for before was just for destruction, to see everything is being disconnected from you, to see everything as just being a metaphor, a simile, just something that's in writing, not actually you connecting with that metaphor and becoming and shaping and you being the hero of the story of your story. Hey, what's going on, you well? He said, "Yeah, you can be the hero, the hero, instead of the sidekick or the pedestrian or the guy just the walking down the street going to 9 to 5 or just anything, man. You can have all the thrills and excitements that you go to the movies to see." It's something I was going to tell you about later on the carnival that I went to. I went to on a carnival, and just the rides going on there was similar to the mind state of what was going on during the trips. So I see that going out and being heroic in your everyday life is not just a metaphor. It's something. It is a calling to be your best version, as Infinite Waters like to say, to be your best version. But to really like be that you hear in the back of your head that you like, "Oh man, well, if only this, if only that, if only this." And that's why this story was cool, because he was starting to waken up to a lot of the powers and things that was going on in him, and he couldn't control it at first. He couldn't control it at first like this. Hold on. He finally ran into the other Spider-Man. He finally ran into the other Spider-Man who was just like, "Yo, I just got sucked into this dimension. Like, I don't know what is going on. I was just on my couch and now I'm here." But he wasn't so shocked by it, which was so cool about the more experienced Spider-Mans other than Miles. They were like cool with extra dimensional travel and the fact that they actually traveled through another dimension. They didn't know how it happened, but they was like, "Yo, it happened." I got something to show y'all to correlate with that. Right now, look at that. Wow. It's a little clip. A little clip, because I'm not getting All right, I'm gonna flip it back over when it gets to the part that I actually want y'all to show. See? But this is about showing clip of the extra dimensional portal.
One day this weird thing happened. And I mean like really weird. I was blown into last week. Literally.
Yeah, she was blown into last week. Literally. Like that was dope. And then the part that's after that that I didn't put in there was that she said I was in another New York that wasn't her own. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to this. All right, I should have a mouse, right? But yeah, she said she was blown into New York into another one that wasn't her own, and she was just like sucked through. It was just like real fast, like just like just pushed through it. So just right like it was just on her wall, just like just pushed her through it. And that reminded me of like just trips. That reminded me of the psychedelic trip, how you just get pushed out of your body. It seems like pushed into a whole nother world, a whole nother existence, a whole nother forms and everything. That's and in the movie they play it off as being similar but different. Like if you look at the advertisements, they was all switched up and things like that. Like instead of Coca-Cola, it was Coke. I don't know. They just switched it up. You know how they do in movies when they switched it up. But it's usually things that you never seen or witnessed or anything before. And when it comes to psychedelics, and like bigger cities, some people encounter cities or underwater cities or cities that seem like they're in the year 3000 or in the year 4000 and things like that. So it's just kind of thing. These experiences are really happening with people. Is what I'm just tying on. These experiences are really happening. So for this to be in the movie is cool, and the fact that the Spider-Mans was cool with that, it means they had some experience. That Miles, who's the main character of this story, seems as though is just like is being bewildered by this. He's being like, "Wow, this is all happening," and things like that. But he's still focused. But he's seeing the way he stays grounded is by staying on his mission to say, "All right, I gotta get y'all back to y'all dimensions because I don't want y'all to glitch out and die." That was the premise of that movie. They had to get back because they was gonna glitch out. They couldn't stay. They couldn't stay but too long. They couldn't stay but too long. I wonder what that was about. I wonder what happened if they would have stayed too long though. Would they had just glitched out eventually and disappear back to their dimension? Like in the trips where they where you don't have enough you didn't take enough DMT and they or take enough shrooms and now you thrown back into your body. You all said they have altered DNA so they aren't fully linked to world like normal people. Yeah, I could see that. That's why I say your DNA is like where you are. Your DNA is encoding your reality and things like that. So if you're in another reality, you somewhere different. Somewhere different. And it was another this movie was just cool. I'm glad I ran into it and I was on a little microdose when I was watching it late at night, so I really was in tune with it. I was really, really in tune with it. So Miles, he was it was cool how he showed up at his school and stuff, and his dad didn't really like Spider-Man. His dad would say, "Yeah, his Spider-Man's just some guy that runs around doing his own thing." He said he doesn't answer to nobody and things like that. Even though Spider-Man does answer to him, does answer to everybody. Literally, really, he's literally balancing out everything and not just taking authority from just one set of rules like an officer would and things like that. But it was cool how they made it so that his own son wound up being Spider-Man. His own son wound up being Spider-Man. And it was just showing me the just dads. It was just showing dads and how sometimes they just not there with the feelings and what's really going on in their life in a teenage son's life. And even just in the mind of a psychedelic person's life. Just period. Just period. Like I know if I was to explain, if I was to go and find my dad and try to explain the experiences that I've been having, it would sound like, oh, so it just sound like me. You just saying you was shooting webs out of your arms and you got super strength and can turn invisible and things like that. Now it's just like a spider, just like how Spider Man is. So the superhero concept, I see what Stan Lee was talking about. I see what Stan Lee was talking about the man in the mask, but being a hero and adapting to everyday life. But in this cool story, Miles is I like that is out, and for this generation, especially teenagers and big grown up kids like me, who can still get things out of it because he didn't know how to relax. He didn't know how to relax, and that was a big thing of controlling his powers, was relaxing and doing something in this dimension that allows him to relax, because then that allows his powers to readily flow through. Like it was a scene where the top of he was stuck to the top of well, he couldn't unstick from walls. He couldn't unstick from any walls. So the other Spider-Man from the other dimension, who already went through all of this, was just like, and remember, he already went through all of this. All of them had similar origin stories. That's why I said they, in my reality, is the same person, just going through different similar circumstances. Or that Spider-Man essence is the Spider-Man essence is was actually alive, and that's the spirit, and it just contains itself in different bodies throughout different realities in order to have different experiments as different kind of Spider-Man, so to speak. That's what I was just tying about. Just yeah, think just tie. That's pretty cool. But yeah, he had to relax, so he actually started singing. And again, we keep it real on this channel. That was some subliminal advertisement, because the song Sunflower by Post Malone and Ray Sherman, I think, was specifically made for the movie. But that's just how it goes. That's how it goes here on Earth dimension, blah blah blah. But he started singing the song, and but the song was cool because the song is about sunflower and about the sun and relaxing and knowing who you are, because it's about your sunflower. And it's not. I don't really see this singing to a girl all the time, but singing it to yourself. That's who you are. And he was able to finally relax. Like that was the atmosphere, like able that he was able to then manipulate his environment because he wasn't so distracted with thoughts. And during draw some, oh, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. You Cove or Boris, draw some nice parallels to the psychedelic experiments, all about letting go. Yes, that's upstage, in psychedelics, and even if it's your first time and things like that, you start feeling you gotta. The more you let go, the more you see, even in your not regular life, in your awakened life, so to speak, you're able all that power, all that connection that you felt during that experience, you're able to channel it more readily available at your command. And it's not, and the thing about it, once you become aware of it, and just probably in everyday life, a lot of people the stuff, they don't go away. Your hands are still going to be sticking to stuff. You're still going to be getting random thoughts and thinking, not knowing where they coming from, and random hunches and the things that he was going through. Miles was able to turn invisible, but he wasn't able to control it. He wasn't able to do it on command. And the other Spider-Mans, they was like, yo, you're useless right now to be a superhero. And this just from their high standards, because they were very expert in being Spider-Man. They were even the younger one, he just had a lot more experience being. It was all about the experience. But still, they saw how they had to push him too. They had to push him because he was not able to control it. He wasn't letting go. He was still feeling distracted. He was still feeling upset about his dad. He was still feeling upset about not being able to understand and having expectations. That was a big thing. Expectations was big. He even spray painted expectations on the wall with his dad. I mean, with his uncle. With his uncle. And I have a previous Sci-Fi video I filmed around spring last year, 2018. I was going to say 17. Years is whatever to me. 17, where I made a video titled "Drop All Expectations." Drop all expectations, and that's it. It correlates to all of this right now, where expectations, you really gotta expect things from yourself and not live up to all the things that you've been told all your life. Because as soon as you come out the womb, you told a name, you just crying, you like, man, where am I, what is this, I don't know what's going on. They like, hey, your name is Bob, and this is your mom. You was born in this hospital. You're from Philadelphia. You're from this, that, and that, and that. Then you start falling into Democrats, Republicans. This is the school you go to, the community, and all of that. So it's all expectations, and nobody expected this guy to be him to be Spider-Man. They expect his dad was pushing him to be big on books and his teachers. And this is how it was just correlating to my life, because that's how it was on me. Like, yo, you're smart, you're smart. And I'm gonna talk to my brother about this too. Like, don't try to. He was failing on purpose. And I remember, wow, it just flashed through my head when I was in middle school, and it was a teacher that had said, I know that you knew this whole it. Wow, you would think that I was making this up, but it was literally a teacher that had said, slow down on your test, because know that you know that I know that you know the answers. And I always knew the answers, but I always wanted to be doing something else, or I didn't really want to. I wanted to. I just didn't really. I didn't really care about the work. I wanted to fit in with the other people or do something. I don't really know totally at this moment, without just adding what's going on probably in high school. But I remember them saying, slow down on your work, because I know that you got the answer. Because I remember like spelling God. We had to spell good, and I spelled God. Like I just didn't put the other O there because I was Russian or things like that. But Miles on the movie, he literally answered every question wrong on purpose. And then they would say, in order to answer multiple choice and get all the questions wrong, you would literally have to know what the right answer was on each one, so that you can make sure you didn't choose the wrong one. And he even was able to tell what percent a person that just guessed was able to get right. It's like, yeah, even a person that guessed would get at least 30% right. This is great, man. I remember that Yoko said, this is great, man. I remember that expectations video. I will definitely give the Spider-Verse a watch. Sounds like this resonates well with my own life. Oh, thanks for watching, bro. But yeah, Spider-Verse is definitely. And if you got a fire stick, but huh?
Can I take this?
No, that's what the microphone is hooked up to.
I'll just tell him because Megan wanted to borrow it.
Sorry. But yeah, got new equipment. Yeah, somebody was trying to borrow the cord. But yeah, to get back on track, expectations. He was loosening his expectations, and he was spray painting it and everything. He was foreshadowing, and there was another thing, because remember I was a little up there in my conscious thought as well, so I was paying attention to all the nuances in the background. I was like, yo, 42, why does 42 keep popping up? But then I watched the video on YouTube this morning, and it was because 42, they had to go through 42 experiments before that spider that escaped to the lab, that escaped from the lab, um is the same one that bit Miles. So that's what the 42 meant. I was like, yo, this 42 is no coinky dink. There's no coinky dink why this 42 was coming up. It was some other cool things that was popping up in the video. Um it was some cool, I'm gonna bounce around again, because it was some cool overall message where he was satisfied that he he was satisfied that he encountered all of these different dimensional aspects of himself, or of the Spider-Man as they put in it. that now whenever he felt as though he was alone, he just had to remember that trip, as I put it. He had to remember that trip where he met and encountered different versions of himself. And that's what was able to carry on, and that's what built was his strength in order to go on and be the hero that he was in the end of the movie, because he was a hero at that point. The trip is his mantra. Yes, Yoko, that's what it was, mantra. He just was repeating it to himself over and over, just like, yo, remember when that happened? Remember this aspect? And it was cool because it was one aspect of him that was just fully in the future. The anime girl, where it was a radioactive spider that she was telepathically connected with, and the technology was cool too to tie on because it was symbiont. It was sentient. It was sentient. It was aware of itself, and she was connected with, and the spider lived inside and they just all connected: the spider, the technology, and the human. And that was cool. They were all working together, and they were the heroes. That's wild. And then they had the Warner Brothers pig one coming out, which just reminded me of the movie and the comic book essence that they brought to the movie. That was very, very awesome. How they had the thought bubbles pop up. And when he was coming up during his trip, which is when he got bitten by the spider, his thoughts started getting louder and louder and louder. And he was like, wait. Can other people hear me? They were so loud that he thought other people can hear him. And this is what you hear from a lot of people during their first time. And just during our own experiences during low doses, if you don't just totally go out there and become your thoughts just start getting real louder. The thought in the back of your head is just like, oh wow, cool. And I connect with this during meditation, and when I'm not dealing that much with with making sure things are readily okay. Like, y'all know how tasks go. We here on earth. But when it's done that voice is just there. And we all working towards becoming just working on our spidey sense. That spidey sense is that gut intuition, that thing that's just there. What up, fam? What up, fam? What's up, King Oz? Thanks for coming in. This is talking about the Spider Verse, but right now I'm talking about the intuition, and the come up stage that was going on, and his thoughts was getting louder. And he was getting so awkward, like it was reminiscence of me. Well, not me, because I never got that socially awkward, but just being listening while I study. Yeah, thanks, bro. Studying is it's a must. He was doing he was coming up in his trip, and it was socially awkward. It's like somebody tripping in public. And I just had a flash of the meme of that jester guy y'all see. And he was dressed up in no, it was a guy dressed up in a jester outfit sitting on a train, and it was like when you're tripping in public. But Miles, since it was his first time, he was like, yo, are people able to hear me and things like that? So it's just cool. It's just cool how the creative outlet is what's socially acceptable in 2019. And just for the longest of times, the creative outlet is what's socially acceptable to get these stories out, to get the true meaning out of people experiences. Like the peer person that was writing this was probably really went through this. Probably Stan Lee and his bros and Jack Kirby and them. They really went through these trippy experiences. And then they relied on other writers that was going on their own experiences to just add to the collection. That's what we do now with Just Ty, with True Life Stories, with King Oz, with Sleepy E, Psych Substance, Your Mate Time, Dakota Earth, the Arabian guy, I forget his name. I'm just rambling off all the channels that we're all just coming together, sharing these ideas, sharing our experiences, and doing whatever it is I was just saying before. But that's what the Spider-Man and things in the multiverse was just all coming out. I'm trying to think else what was going on that was real important that stuck out. And if anything stuck out to y'all, if y'all saw this movie, just type it in and let me know. Just type it in. Hold on. Spider-Man. I don't know. It was cool how I'm trying to remember what I didn't cover yet. I'm trying to make sure I covered everything that was coming to me. The uncle aspect was pretty dope. The uncle, how his uncle wound up being the bad guy in the end and wound up being the motivation because he wound up getting killed in front of him. So they still that made me, yeah, something deep to tie on is how all the all the Spider-Mans have similar origin stories, even though they all happen in different aspects. And that's just that showed me just tying on parallel realities for me and how certain things can be happening just the same but just a little differently, just a little in another version of yourself. Yeah, and all the stories they just make new characters like them of old, is what you well said. And how they all, I don't know. I had something. Oh, you know the comic, not the. Hey, let me know. Let me know. I didn't even know it was a comic. I was like, oh, they just came up with this, but obviously it was a comic. A lot of source material, a lot of source material going on. But what else happened? What else happened with Miles? With Miles and his uncle. Yeah, their uncle. I don't know. I was just saying how everything just always happened. That's hero story was that attack by uncle. In the movie, they didn't make him attacked by the uncle. In the movie, the dad winds up finding his brother, which is his uncle, Miles' uncle. He just winds up finding him dead. He just winds up finding him dead, and Miles runs away and does like, oh man, I can't talk about this to my dad now, definitely, because now he thinks Spider-Man did it and things like that. But that's how that went. It gotta be. It was. Oh, this was another cool picture. Because they introduced us to the 2099 Spider-Man, and the 2099 Spider-Man went back to like the 50s, 60s Spider-Man. It was like, hey, what's going on? And for me, that was just showing me how all of these characters actually exist, like in their own realm. All of these characters exist, and they like he actually exists. And that's why in the end of the movie, for me, it was cool because I put this in my own story already. How it zooms out, and then you're back in your dimension. So now the movie plays it out so that you're the Spider-Man of your dimension now. So now it's up to you to answer that call because there's no Spider-Man yet in your universe. So it needs that call to be answered. So I found that a pretty dope slide in at the end of the movie. So yeah, so that's the call. That's the call that I've been hearing. That's the Just Talk call that's been around for a while. And that a lot of people hear in many different forms and religions. Trying to really tie on this now. Really many forms and religions, and it really is a humbling experience. Cause when you really on the path is it brings about a lot of humbleness because when you think you on the path, it brings a lot of anger and you still got a lot of ego. And what I mean by that is just a lot of control factors going on because it's still things in you that haven't been dealt with, that have not been dealt with. Like in Spider-Man, he wasn't able to do these things until he conquered all his inner self. Like the all the Spider-Mans from all the other universes like supposedly gave up on him. They was like his shadow side representatively. They was his shadowness from all the other dimensions and like, yo, like this is who you could be. Like, what are you? Who are you? Look what you doing. You giving up? You don't know who you are. You do not know who you are. You know Asani. No, I don't. An aside. No, I don't. Hold on. I should have my phone near me. Nope, I don't. Now, who is that? Who is that? Okay, hold on. But yeah, that's what that's what happens as we keep going around. Oh, the Nazi spider. All right, yeah, the Nazi spider. Once the Nazi spider comes about, I don't really know. I never heard of that one. I'm trying to think tie on this Nazi. I wish I had my phone near me because it's like it's ringing a bell, but then it's not. Hold on one second. All right, there we go. So all right, yeah, that's taken care of. I don't know what that was about. But the Spider-Man verse is representative of everything that's going around in us and around us, and him encountering all these versions of himself and him speaking to himself allowed him to just really come in terms with reality because he wasn't fitting in with what was going on. He wasn't fitting in with the story. It wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't, it was just stories that people was giving him when he had a story that the universe was given to him. Literally, the universe, the Spidey spirit, however you want to put it, was giving him with the story and things that he had to do. So that's how that is. And it's a lot of things throughout history that has us try to that has us give our power over to something else other than ourselves. Then when the power is really in us. And when we say the power, it really is not how people put it, where it's to control others, but it's the power that you see that everything is as it already should be. And when you go into yourself, and the only way to really operate and really change things that we want to see on the outside is to go into ourselves. Go into ourselves and align the chakras, get rid of a lot of traumas, get rid of a lot of stigmatisms that was placed on us during our time here on earth. And that's what's going to allow us to then become the hero, or else we just going to be talking a lot of talk and looking up to a lot of other people that are feeding us with lies. A lot of people through history, a lot of our leaders and things, they feed us with lies. They feed us with a lot of lies. And history will tell you the truth. And the people that learn it through history, they become the atheists. They be like, man, well, forget everything. No multi-dimension. It could, I don't know. They like, when you go on in anger and look at history, you be like, yo, everybody was lying to me. So then that's when you become the so-called villain in the story, because you feel as though you was betrayed, that things that just didn't go right for you, and that somebody was just always out to hurt you, and that somebody was supposed to come and get you and help you, but they just abandoned you and there was nothing you can do. When the hero story is when you go into yourself and you dive into the darkness. You dive into the darkness and you forget all about the light. And you say, because light is to me is illusion. Any form of light is another form of illusion. It's another form of information. But when you go into the darkness, the chaos, you dive into what's actually creating everything. The darkness to me is the mother aspect of things, and you dive into the world of form of creative. And when you go there, that's when you're able to come to terms with things in yourself more, and I don't know, you just come out more peaceful, or more peaceful, but still a warrior at the same time. That's why experience to me means more than just talking and reading books. Experience to me is not that it means more. It's all to me the same thing. It's all to me. And if I'm not doing one thing, if I'm doing one thing and not doing the other, then is things get messed up. Things get murky. Stuff tried other people opinions try to slip in that I know was opinions that I already been over before. So it's like it takes a lot to be a warrior. It takes a lot to be a hero and to stand in the face of what everybody said was so-called true and say that is a lie. That is a lie. And most of the time, a lot of people are walking around in masks. And they do this get masked, but they are out there. We are out there fighting the bad guys. And the thing about fighting the bad guys is that we're going in ourselves and fighting ourselves. That's what we do with these experiments. We're coming to terms with ourselves instead of pointing the finger. Out here points the fingers. Yeah, like Spider-Man and Batman, you can be seen as bad by some, but no, you're the hero, the Dark Knight. Yes, you can probably come off groggy, but that's because you're 10 steps ahead, and you know that if you participated in this in the way that other people were participating in that moment, then it's going to get all messed up. But you cool with the way you are at that moment. And then sometimes in his life, while people get stuck up and why I love experiences more than reading and writing is that some people just try to be Batman all their life. Some people just try to be Superman all their life. Some people just try to be Spider-Man all their life. But as we see in the multiverse Spider-Man, it was different kinds of Spider-Mans with different kinds of personalities. And Miles and now all the other ones got to experience all of those personalities of themselves, all of those views of themselves in one setting. It's a old trip story that always comes to my mind that I read on Reddit like 2 years ago of a guy who took DMT, and he said all his personalities, it seemed as though were all sitting around him in a circle, or were all around him in a circle, like the anger, like a cartoon, like the anger, the sad, everything. But they were all different. They were all dressed differently, had different eye colors, but they all manifested in front of him when he did DMT. And I forget how the story went after that. But that's what I always take that to heart. I say, yo, all of our sides of ourselves, all those personalities, all those so-called voices in our heads are us. They're all us. And it may seem like sometimes they all fighting to be the number one voice and they all climbing up the pole. But the more harmonized we come in ourselves, the more we love ourselves, we'll hug the anger. We'll see the needy side of ourselves or the wanting side of ourselves and be like, hey, here go another hug. Or the side of us that want to go out and do stuff, like, yeah, high five, let's go, let's do this, yeah. So it's a lot of sides. That's what I see, loving ourselves and having power. That's what I believe that means, because I don't believe anybody that says they have power, and they demonstrate that by showing their works, or showing, yeah, these people listen to me, or these people be do this and all this because of me. And that's not power to me. That's not power to me. That's manipulation. That's manipulation to me. In some kind of form. In some kind of form, even a lot of people that think that they're just helping people. They're just helping people. If is it's just so many ways that, so many ways of confusion again. What is that? So many ways that you could just get manipulated and controlled in this universe, thinking that you helping and spreading light, and then pointing the finger at people that you think are spreading darkness. No, 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 no. That's why Batman doesn't kill anybody. That's why you see in these comic books the superheroes don't go out to kill people, but you see the people that so called are followers of the light, that so called bros. They was like, they talking too much, but but they trying to get us to go to war. They trying to get us here.
I didn't mean, I'm not rushing or anything, but Megan was just waiting. She was just waiting around. But she probably leave. I don't know.
All right,
Go, you can puff it for a while.
all right. Well, yeah, they want us. Thank you. They want us to go to war. I mean, they're the ones going to war. They're the ones that's been excommunicating people for centuries. Like all religions, all people that have been cults and things that thinks that they're spreading light and pointing the finger at so-called darkness. They're the ones that are perpetuating and putting out the most so-called so-called evil doings in the world, the things that are not benefiting the whole, but the individual or a certain collective of people, and that's it. And it's still going out. It's still going on today, man, guys. Whew. A lot. Y'all know how the tie goes. Y'all know how the conversations be going. But to me, this all still correlates to Spider-Man. It all correlates to Spider-Man, guys.
Oh, I heard about that mass shooting in New Zealand. They killed 50 people.
Oh, I ain't talking about no mass shootings.
But you talking about like killing people for a just cause, like Alibaba, like people doing suicidal
Oh,
shooting up people because they think they being a hero of their religion or some shit.
yeah,
The same thing.
yep. I'm about to get into that now. Then they that's what. Let me close this. Rudy, you coming in or not?
Like Boston Marathon shooting.
Yeah, that's true. That's what she said is correct. That's what got me into atheism in the beginning, which was totally throwing me off of my axis and knowing and coming closer to truth, because no truth, every truth is but half truth once it comes down to this plane. But for me, I became atheist because I was like, yo, was she just going off what she said? There was a lot of martyrs out there that say, yo, I'm blowing up this because of my religion. Religion causes a lot of people to hate, or people that's trying to just spread a lot of light for a certain collective and for a certain cause at any point. They go out there and they say, yo, this is because of my religion. This is why I killed myself. That's what got me onto Richard Dawkins. He's a biologist, an evolutionary biologist from in Europe and London or somewhere over there. But he puts out a lot of valid points when it comes to religion. It's just that he doesn't him Graham, I believe. that talks about the ancient societies. He was talking about his conversations that he want to have with or that I would like to have too with Richard Dawkins because he spreads a lot of stuff out here, but he hasn't had a psychedelic experience, which I think would be an awesome next step for him because the points that he says about religions, beliefs, yeah, that's his big thing. Belief systems, that's the term he says. He says belief systems corrupt people and they drive people to do things that we see today. That when you in your wholeness estate, it's like you look at them like, yo, I'm in some type of movie right now. Like that's some movie type stuff. This is stuff we write about. This stuff that was in the back of my head. But all that stuff is that's in your back of your head is what's playing out in this reality. Is what's really going on. People really do stuff like that. And what is going on the Astro Way? Hey. Yeah, I was thinking about, you ain't tell me nothing about it. I was just visioning your DMT trip, saying you came back as the Astro Way. That's in my head all day. And also, you're talking about the Cuckoo Khan. I was thinking about that too. They just discovered these new Mayan artifacts in Mexico. A couple days ago or last week. So wow, that's saved in my Facebook articles though. But yeah, that's what happens. That's where we are today. So really, we're seeing that it's not just people in the lonely. Well, it probably was people because probably before these writers of comics went out, they was probably just in their lonely old apartment. Or they probably were just in college, or they probably were in college, had well established families or something. They experienced these chemicals, these plants, and they had these experiences that brought about movies that make them think about invisible suits and multi-dimensional travel, Spider-Man and sweatpants. You get an influx of power. Yes, DMT is crazy. You get an influx of it's like a super it's like it's a magic wand. It's a magic wand once you learn how to wield it. And that's why I believe all these cartoons, they show you how to wield magic all growing up. It's just that all everything that your mom and dad, papa, granddad, but still not even that, because some parents was that wrote the comics, they got kids, and their kids, I believe, is closer to the truth than kids that had to figure things out on their own, or they come to the same similar truth. Kids that go out and figure out on their own instead of staying established in one form of this is what I was told is the truth. Even though I see it ruining people's lives, even though I see it making me depressed, even though I see it, the person that's telling me it is depressed, even though I see the person that told them about it has some stuff going on in their life that they don't know how to deal with, or that they think is a tribute, they think is somebody else is going to help them deal with in the future way long, so they make excuses for their behaviors now. So it's a lot that goes on. It's a lot that goes on with these cartoons, because all this reality is all playing out. There's no real separateness. There's no real separateness in existence, period. Like there's no such thing as separateness. So say it's a kid watching, and this is my own story, but I'm gonna say it from another perspective so I can say it like how I want it to be seen. Say a kid is watching Naruto, and then they're so interested in it, they do the hand signs and everything, which find out later in life is similar to mudaras, which is like certain hand positions you do when meditating, and that people see when they go into trips. That if they do certain postures, they're able to contain a certain kind of energy and things like that. But overall, imagine a kid watching Naruto in his grandmom's house on the computer. It's in Japanese, not in English. And then the person comes and says, "You can't watch that. You can't watch that. You don't know what they're saying. because they could be saying spells and things that you don't understand. So the boy is like, I want to understand this more. That's the inkling. Created that cartoon, knew what did that to spark imagination. This is their magnus opus, their great work to go out there, just like the Spider-Man. And this is their great work to go out there. So then it's working, it's doing its magic, it's doing its thing, but still playing our reality. And that's why it plays out in the stories too. It's like it plays out in so now it plays out as somebody else trying to stop you from getting that message. And it's like, hey, no, it's in Japanese, first of all. They could be translating those words wrong. And you don't know what spells and all this magic stuff. You don't know what's really going on. It's affecting your life. From their point of view, from what they were told, they're playing out a story of, I'm encountering now this foreign thing, this extraterrestrial thing, this time escaping thing, magic dealing thing. And in their realm of reality is like, no, this is something we don't deal with. If anything, the only one that has magic is God. And if you really read the Bible, Moses, Abraham, every prophet, everybody that wrote the Bible that said they were just human, they had powers. But we keep going, and so then you there watching it, fear of the unknown. So then you watching it, and then it's like you taken back and you taken away from it. But that's still that hint is there. That cartoon still got to you. And that's why I see kids and still me too, but I'm adult, so I create my own environment now. But kids, they like, yo, I want to watch this cartoon. And it's like this inkling to watch it, like Gravity Falls and things like that. It's a lot of things that goes on in these cartoons that's meant for if you're in that mind state. If you're in that mind state, and adults really do lose it through dogma and belief systems. But when you're connected to that state, everything makes sense, especially cartoons. It's like everything makes sense, especially when I watch cartoons. Like movies, they add stuff, but especially when I watch a cartoon, it's like, this makes sense. This makes sense. And other people's like, that don't make sense. You throw something Kamehameha out of your hand. I can't do that. But in this realm, it would make sense reading somebody's trip report or listening to somebody's trip report and them saying that a being was sitting there like this. I'm gonna True Life put this as it's on Facebook, but I was watching a video of somebody who was talking about it was a being that was sitting there like this, like, you got here, and he had like a special kind of face, a black and white suit. But the guy was saying, you got here too soon. What are you doing here? He was saying to somebody else, to the guy. But he said, I want to see what you can do. So he said he saw his hands going like this, moving together. And I was just thinking about Dragon Ball Z and other experiences. And he was saying how it was different geometric pattern like existing in his hand, and he was making them form and things like that. So that makes sense to me. It happened to him. So watching the cartoon is just you just in that feeling sense where it just makes sense. You live in that gut feeling world. In the world of gut feelings. Also with myths of old, we see the real in them. Yeah, we do see the real of them. And Zeus and Thor and all of them. That's why in the Marvel universe you see them having their love connections and being hurt by their dads and all of that. They were just like us. They were just like us. And even if they are representative celestial beings that don't exist here, but they exist celestially and things like that, it's still the same story. The story still goes on and on. There's nothing new under the sun, as they say, right? It's nothing new under the sun. I was reading that whole comment on how I actually got over to to this from that one comment. But that's cool. The trolls are real. But I do value opinion, though. I will say that. It's just that if you ain't trying to have a conversation, a conversation, and you just want to put blanket statements on this channel, it's going to get washed over. It's just going to get washed over. That's how it is. We got to keep going with this. But if you're willing to talk things out, we go ahead and have the Discord up, or we can chat it up. If you ever have any kind of opinion, just type it away. Just talk. If you hear and you got something to say, just make sure you say it. Or if you don't and you just want to take things in, that's cool too. See how control works, guys? You don't just tell people some things just because you feel some type of way. You still tie on the other side and say, hey, you still don't have to. It's all good. We still gonna be mighty fine over here. UL said many times the magic is made in tech by these people. Oh yeah. I'm seeing, yeah, it really is in technology. I think that's why when I in those zones and things and I look at my phone, it's like my phone become even more advanced than it already is. It seems like it's like, oh, this is what my phone really is. Like probably phones in the future gonna have like light stuff just like flisking off to the side like smoke, but it's part of the phone. All right, I don't know. And the symbiotes is how in the Spider-Man movie. Um, do I have a picture of it? I don't think so. In the Spider-Man movie, how the robot was actually sentient, and the the Spider Girl in that universe, it was her, the spider, and then it was the robot, and they was all together. But when the spider Transformers, y'all know how it is. Transformers, it's magic. It seems like magic. Yeah, this was a cool picture. Just to bring it back to Spider-Man. Holograms projecting from the screen. Yeah, that's the way to put it. That's the way a lot of physicists are putting it. That's what led me to a lot of this psychedelic stuff. Is shine light through a 2D picture and you could create a 3D image. Oh, did I even talk about that picture? But there go all the Spider-Mans. There go all the Spider-Mans. That is a cool one. For all different realities, all different drawing styles and everything. That's pretty dope. But yeah, it's a lot of things going on. And overall, I just want to say that it's just never too late. It's never too late to believe in yourselves and to go forward and do what you want to do and to be the hero. And that it takes a lot of time. It comes with a lot of I was about to say oppression. It comes with a lot of things. A lot of things shit is going to come at you. A lot of things is going to tell you you're wrong or all of that. Can you tell the story how you got your hands on magic mushrooms for the first time? Was Madam Web in the movie? Real quick, no, Madam Web wasn't in the movie. Madam Web does have a lot. I see her in a lot of the cartoons. I don't know the comics, but she does stand a lot in the background. She's the one with the red glasses and the old lady. But the Astroway, the first time I ran across mushrooms, what happened? I was actually searching for I was actually searching for mushrooms for a long time. And not like going around asking people on the street corners. Yeah, the cosmic spider. Real quick, the cosmic spider, it just reminded me of through different dimensions and creates dreams and things like that. I think it's called Spiders by System of a Down. That's what popped down. I was just thinking about that. No, they came to me, bro. Overall, they came to me. I went and looked them out. I went and was like researching them on the internet and things like that, so I could know if I seen one at the park, if it was psilocybin or not. Like that's what I mean by looking. I was going out in the actual nature, like yo, I need some shroom. I'm gonna find some shrooms. And then when they finally did come to me, somebody else brought them. Somebody else just brought them and just shared a little bit with me. And that first time it was 3 people and we all split an eighth, but that didn't really do anything. But the second time it came to me, it was through a coworker. And yeah, well, in the past, like 2 years ago, I used to seek for them. Now it's just like they just here. They just here. They just here. Even in ways I don't want to even talk about on camera. But Um, yeah, somebody gave them to me because it was just cool. I use alchemy to get stuff. That was my manifesting things. Even just on a level where saying you manifesting things just sound corny. Hey, what's going on, Matt B? What's up, bro? New to the channel. Right now we was going past the spider talk, and we on now to mushrooms and how do they come to you? How do they come to you when you first saw them? Did you have to seek them out, or did you manifest them? Because it was like that. It really did come. Somebody was it was a cool guy, cool worker. He's just like I got shrooms. He got shrooms, and I was like, oh, I always want to try them out and things like that. And the first time I took them, I was alone as well. I wasn't with anybody. Most of my time tripping, like my good trips, where it was all by myself. It was all mostly by myself. And when I moved to California, I actually had a vision that I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be doing mushrooms on the mountains with like." Oh, that's another story. That's funny. We'll let that come to pass. Cause I am doing I have done it on the mountains before. But for intuition wise in mushrooms, when I'm walking, I hear mushrooms a lot. Like if I'm when it's like the rainy season, especially, or just period now. That just seemed like when it was getting hyphened up when I was honing in on that skill. But I've been looking around for mushrooms so much that I can just be walking or riding a bike and it would just catch my eye. Like anywhere, it can be one mushroom in a lawn or somewhere. I would like know that it's a mushroom there. I would know it's a mushroom there. It's not even just a psilocybin mushroom, just a species, just any species. It's just like, oh hey. I have a lot of pictures. I'd like taking pictures and I was always collecting them, just taking spore prints. Yeah, it's a lot. It's many different types. They smell so different. A lot of different aromas. A lot of different aromas. Sweets aromas, not all just earthy dirt stuff. Not just expert forgers. Hashtag goals. Yeah, I keep saying. I said if I need a profession, might as well go into mycology, right? Mycology, biology, nature, and things like that. Dealing with the outdoors. That's a profession. So-called profession, a role in life. That's a role in life. But forging is cool. Forging is cool, and it works with your instincts and things like that. It works with flowing. I'm in a real flowy state whenever that's happening. Whenever that's happening, I'm aware of the mushroom right there and there and there. It's cool. But yeah, Matt, how's it going? How's it going, Matt Big? We have entered the second rim of the podcast. Cool. Good to hear. Good to hear. And if y'all asking about that, that's a burn from this sitting back. Amber fell off of me while I was watching Spider-Man. So this all goes into the story. Burned me while I was watching Spider-Man, man. This is MAD. This is Mad. And Astro Way say I fell in love with mycology. I think it's so interesting. I think it is interesting, and I've always been interested in nature. Period. I used to be able to know bird calls, and I did learn that as a test, though. I thought it was my matey. Wait, hold on. Oh. Got you. I'm trying not to cough on camera and smoke and talk fast at the same. Well, this is my own version of a moon rock. A dab mixed up with some weed, some cannabis. I thought it was. Hold on. I'm getting these comments up, guys, so I can see them. They keep like just disappearing. Let me click none and then click show chat. Like the whole chat just disappeared. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna get it back up. But I know that Astroway was mentioning plants and how interesting it is. And I'm hearing how most of the information, the most oh no, when I look at people on YouTube, or I mean YouTube, I mean that it's just people that I see that have been far into their journeys, and they have like a profession as well, so they able. So it seems like most people that deal with psych that I've seen, that I look up to, they dive deeper into this world. Like Hamilton Morris dived into the pharmaceutical side of it, where he able to say the chemical structure. So when he get the other side and start accepting the existence of beings publicly at least, he would be cool. But also Paul Stamus and things like that. He's real into mycology, and even Terrence McKenna and his brother Dennis, and other people out there. It seems though you want to learn more and more about what the plant life is, and that can be more of us just learning who we are. And that's why probably in school the calmest person was the in my school, at least, the calmest person was Miss Seretny, who was the nature teacher. And she didn't so-called have to probably be into psychedelics and all of that stuff, but she was into learning biology, learning how the body works, learning how nature works, like for itself, without putting all the so much logic into it, but saying, yes, the birds do this because of this. If she knew a lot of bird calls, she was so much an expert into it, and she was so peaceful in her life and things like that. Even when she had cancer, she still teached until she went on to another dimension. So that's how dedicated she was, and that's how calm and fulfilled she was. And she was wholly into nature, wholly into protecting nature and things like that. And she reinstilled that into me, because I did have it growing up. I always loved going to the park, but she reinstilled it, rejuvenated it because I was in high school. So this is those years, those teenage years. So I can say I give her that. She instilled that in me. So that's pretty dope. To know that when we connect and want and actually going and wanting to study the mycology, or study trees, study the bark of trees, study different leaf shapes, why they have different leaf shapes. Most people like, why do you want to study? Why is going to know that leaf shape? How is that going to help you make $1 million? How is that going to help you put food on your table? Probably help you put food on your table. But it's a lot of other ways that the people just not connected to. Is not connected to, but it's so simple. It's so simple because it's just nature, baby. Just get out in nature and take a walk. Just be interested. Be interested X, Y, and more things than in things that they have us X and Y about now. You turn on the news, you're not going to hear, well, why is it sunny, or why is this forest fire happening, like, really, or why is something, I don't know, I'm trying to say, why is this weather thing happening right now? And they just gonna say, oh, it's sunny, oh, it's this, or oh, it's a war going on, and all of this. It's wild. I don't know, because they kind of give you a why overall, but the why that they give you is still manipulated to fit an agenda, so to speak. So it's just cool. It's just cool to becoming more of yourselves. And let me see if I can get this chat up again. It's just gone. And see if I flip it around and then do that. It's just me. I feel so low. Help me, guys. I'm panicking. I'm having a bad trip. You was there, then you're not. Say, I'm playing. I'm just gonna spark up, meet y'all in the fourth dimension, and continue this conversation. Or do this. Hold on, guys. I'll be. All right, there we go. something that said, no, no, guy, turn off the app, turn it back on, and it's going to come back on. I was like, all right, go for it. And now I can see what y'all were saying. Okay, so I was in Jack Sparrow level of Kingdom Hearts 3 when we met. Yeah, the rabbit holes can lead you deep into understanding or understanding of a thing. I need to get Kingdom Hearts 3. The media wants to narrate the story of people. Yeah, everything. That's what you well wrote. That's what they want to narrate the story. They want to narrate the story so they can know what you're up to. Everybody like, oh, they want technology and stuff so that they can know more and get more of your information and everything. They already know everything. A point where they know that you don't that you think that they need technology to know more about you. It's levels to it. It's levels to it. But on the level that I'm talking about, they already know about you. They already know about people. And that's how they know that you're going to go buy that certain thing. That's how they know that you're going to go and watch that movie. That's how they know you're going to go to that supermarket over that supermarket. And then people like, who is they? The people in my conversation right now, the CEOs, the people that's keeping the company running. Like, so, oh, this person keeps the company running. Like that's the day I'm talking about right now. No imaginary over here, even though it is imaginary because they illusions too. Like, yeah, they give people set types to manipulate. And then people get mad about stereotypes. Well, all these stereotypes is just put out there to make you recognize, oh yeah, this is me. I accept it. Now I can be something else as well. People like, oh, people get mad at stereotypes because they be like, man, well, I do love this, man. Come on, I'm supposed to not love it. I'm supposed to love something else. I do love this. That's irritation because you feel trapped in a box. You should feel that, and you should be able to feel something else. You should be able to be, just to tie all back in, you should be able to be all your Spider-Mans. You should be able to be all of that. Just tie. But that's what the superhero, just to wrap this all together, that's what the superhero and all brings us back in, because superheroes, and what I mean by superheroes is just in particular thinking about the Marvel aspects, and just your idea of a superhero is just what we are now, doing now. Somebody that's interested in a lot of different subjects, including the world around them, and not abusing their gift, but using their gift, not shunning away their gift and becoming depressed, but using it and not abusing it. Coming to that point of balance where you're here and you're there, you're everywhere. That's just the point. That's what a hero is. That's just a hero to me, at least. And it's 82-minute Spider-Man special. So guys, man, I think I'm gonna head out about now. Unless y'all have something else y'all want to bring up. But to start the rambles on. And check us out. Like this video. Smash the like button. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you know for more. I got the Instagram. I go live randomly on there. And I post random pictures on there and on the Discord. I post a link to True Lives and to the one that I have as well. And what else I got? The Facebook going on. Have a good one, you well. Have a good one. Have a good one, Matt B. Astro Way. Everyone that decided to King Oz, Yo Cove, everybody decided to come through. Hopefully I'll see y'all next time. That's up to y'all. But peace, adios, and we all tie. But do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. Until next time, this is Ty saying Ty always, and talk that Ty.